one more bad audio clip away from just losing it.
What you doing there? You guys making a podcast?
Why would you think that's a good idea?
You two are the dumbest people I've ever seen.
That's janky.
My goodness, ladies and gentlemen, I just have to say, I apologize for how trash the audio is going to be during this episode. You see, I got a new laptop because I'm still using good old Janky here. Somehow, she's still alive and kicking because my new laptop, I have to get an adapter to plug other stuff into it. I love how Apple products are like, how do we make more money? Oh yeah, make them buy 50 different adapters. Yeah. So as I slowly go insane, the reason I'm keeping this episode is because Everett and I did a lot of research into it. I photoshopped a lot of funny pictures of presidents. I put a lot of work into it, only for it to turn out kind of crappy. So that's where I figured, you know what? I might as well just keep rolling with it, roll with the punches, which is great. Okay, your fun history fact for the day is, did you know one of our presidents, I'm not going to say which one, it's a fun little game, I'll let you know at the end which president it was. One of our presidents had 3 kids die. All 3 of his kids died, and one of them died in a train crash and got decapitated. Isn't that just a fun little history fact for you? Why would I make you wait to hear? What was my thought Guys, I'm losing it. It's Franklin Pierce. First of all, I don't know why I was going to make you wait for that. Losing it. It's okay, guys. Don't worry. I'm completely sane. It's just been long month. October's been something else. But that being said, I think I've already said that too. A word from our sponsor. And of course, as always, I would be remiss not to tell you about today's sponsor, the beloved OCC Merch. I get all of my merchandise through OCC Merch. They do amazing work. Whether you're a huge creator, small creator, or you have 5 listeners on your Twitch channel, it doesn't matter. They're here to help. They have different steps and ways to show your merch and sell your merch. They host the website for you, do all the shipping. It's the easiest merch kind of sells you are ever going to do. OCCmerch.com is the place to go. It's in the description. Tell them Jake sent you. They're going to treat you real nice.
Can disregard this opening as we wait for Jake.
Alrighty. I'll intro it, and then I'll have you talk, all right?
Yeah. Okay, that works. Am I in speaker?
No, you're not on speaker.
Okay. Cool.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the most incredible battle you will ever witness. We've had every president, 44 men, stacked up against each other, ready to fight to the death to prove to you they are the strongest president. With me is the legendary, rarely ever seen on this podcast, even though he is the literal other part of this podcast, Everett DeVoe.
Hey, boys and girls, it's good to be back.
And that's all he has to say. All right. Everett, are you excited for this intense battle?
For sure, I got some ringers in the fight that I'm ready to see squash the competition.
Who do you think is going to win, just right now?
Right now, if I had to vote on who would win in the most general end game, I would say probably Theodore Roosevelt. Good old Teddy.
Theodore Roosevelt? I think Gerald Ford might throw you through some stuff. You know the weights and heights of the presidents, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do actually have that information offhand.
Beautiful. All right then. Are you ready to get into it?
Yep, let's start from the top.
All right, so starting out, it's George Washington versus John Adams. Personally, I think George Washington would crush John Adams.
Yeah, when it comes to the fight between them, I mean, honestly, George Washington was clearly more of a fighter than Adams because he, ran the government or even the army at the beginning of the Revolutionary War. Looking here, it looks like George Washington, he comes in at about 175 pounds in weight, while we have John Adams at 150. So John Adams wasn't really known as a fighter, so I think he would for sure get destroyed by Washington.
Yeah, so Washington takes that first one, and I think Washington is just going to murder all the Founding Fathers, because next up is Thomas Jefferson, who I would say is probably stronger than John Adams, but still weaker than George Washington.
Oh, yes, I would for sure agree with that. I mean, Washington, his weight, he's only about 1 pound heavier than Jefferson, so there's not that big of a difference. But Jefferson wasn't, from my knowledge, at least not a fighter in any way. He was just a politician.
Yeah, Washington would smoke him. And then we get to James Madison. Is it James Madison or James Monroe, who's just like the smallest president ever?
For third president, or wait, no, we went on Jefferson. So it is Madison. So he is actually, yes, the smallest president.
Yes.
Weighing in at about 100 pounds.
Dude, James Madison was 100 pounds. I think George Washington could pick him up and just break his back.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. That's
dude,
like
James Madison,
hurting a child.
I'm sorry, bro, but Washington smokes you. James Monroe as well, next president. In Washington, like I said, just smoking through founding fathers and early presidents. Do you think James Monroe would put up a fight at all?
Well, looking here, actually, James Monroe is heavier than Washington, but he's 189 pounds compared to Washington, who's 175. So I mean, he definitely has the weight distribution on him, and I honestly, for the top of my head, I can't really think of too much that James Monroe is known for in fighting, at least, but I would still have to go with Washington. I feel like he's still an expert fighter.
Even if it's still like hands fighting, like there's no weapons involved, I think he would still win. It's still close enough weight class where like Washington, I think could still pull it off against James Monroe, but I think this would be the closest fight so far.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely with the weight class and everything. He's definitely going to be a close fight.
Congratulations to Washington, though. We'll vote him. John Quincy Adams. This one, I don't think he would win, right? John Quincy Adams, he doesn't seem like a fighter either, right? He was less of a fighter than his father.
I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell you on the top of my head, but he is the same weight as Washington, so it's going to be a pretty close fight in there. But
I feel like even with the weight, when I think of John Quincy Adams, I don't think of like an extreme fighter. Washington, in my eyes, is like a fighter.
I got you. Yeah, no, I would probably still put my money on Washington.
Yeah, we'll push Washington through because now it gets to someone who would actually, I think, be a challenge. Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. Oh, boy. Well, let me check here.
Well, first of all, Andrew Jackson, as you're looking, is an absolute monster. We know that. He was a very bad person, but, like, did a lot for America. So it's one of those things where, like, he's a bad person. I would not want to be friends with him, but, like, this man survived up to 100 duels. He did at least 5, survived up to 100, beat his assassin with a cane one time. Absolute mad lad. I think he would put up a pretty big fight against Washington, but it's not a duel. It's them fighting to the death with their bare hands. So I think it comes down to who's bigger.
Well, even then, I mean, Andrew Jackson rolls in at about 140 pounds, so he's definitely not the biggest guy in the field. He's actually the second, I guess, lightweight president besides James Madison. But even then, I don't know if you remember, but there is that story of Andrew Jackson, and he was, I think, walking through Congress, or it might have been the White House or something, but there's an assassin that came to kill him, and he literally, like, just whipped out his cane, beat the guy to death, and then just, like, kept going about his day just casually.
Which, that's pretty badass, but I think we've seen that Andrew Jackson is great with weapons. He's also a war hero, but would he be able to win when it's just hands-on combat?
Well, if we're going to keep it to the just hands combat, I'm going to have to go with Washington. I feel like Jackson would play dirty for sure, but I think because of that weight distribution, Washington would just start pummeling him over time.
I do think Andrew Jackson would mess up Washington enough, though. Like, I think Andrew Jackson would actually is now the biggest contender against Washington. Still loses, but, like, gets an honorable mention.
Oh, absolutely. I would agree with that.
And then we get to Martin Van Buren. I think we could just say Martin Van Buren would get pummeled by Washington.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know too much about his presidency or what he did, but
he was
I'm probably gonna go Washington.
One of the founders of the Democratic Party. Also, I'm pretty sure he was Andrew Jackson's vice president, and Andrew Jackson literally said once, "I should have killed my vice president." So, yeah.
So yeah, we're just gonna go Washington. Call that a fair fight.
Well, we get to William Henry Harrison. Dude only was president for a month because he died of pneumonia. Because he did the longest inaugural address in the reign, but he was a war hero. How big is he?
He clocks in at 162 pounds. So just for the I guess comparison, Washington is at the 175, and then even then, Martin Van Buren, he was at 164. So we're kind of getting in the range where they're all going to be about the same weight going forward. But yeah, he is still technically smaller
I feel
than
like
Washington.
William Henry Harrison could actually put up a really good fight against Washington. I didn't think about it much, but he was definitely a war hero as well. And ignoring the whole pneumonia thing, and he also wasn't the best person out there, I think he could actually put up a fight against Washington.
Then, I mean, yeah, it's possible. I can't say I have too much information on that, but I'm still going to stick with Washington. What do you think? Are you going to move and think that Harrison
statistically,
wins?
he would win a few fights, but again, statistically, would lose more than win more against Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning,
nah, okay, that makes sense.
So we'll still give it to Washington, and then that was another challenger, but now we get into a less challenging person. What do you know about let's see, where is he? John Tyler.
For John Tyler, I mean, I really just have the weight here of 160 pounds. Outside of that, I couldn't say that I know too much about
John
his presidency.
Tyler, nobody liked John Tyler. His own party was like, hey, bro, we actually kind of hate you. Yeah, get out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I can dig that. Well, that sounds like a fun president right there.
Also, just like looking at him, he looks like Washington would mess him up.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna still go with Washington.
Jesus,
on this,
man,
even if I don't
Washington
know
is
John.
just murdering through these guys. And then you get to
Washington-
James K. Polk. James K. Polk was, I'm fairly certain, was a pretty bad person as well. A lot of these presidents, I think, start getting marked as like bad people. But how big is he? He looks like he could put up a fight.
I guess that's really tough to say.
He has
I'm
very
not
big,
gonna lie to you.
in all the pictures, he always just looks goofy.
Let me see.
You know what? It doesn't matter how much he weighs. I'm going to automatically say he loses, but I'll let you tell me how much he weighs. But I'm already picking that he loses. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, my apologies. I was having a little bit of problems with the mic there, but for the weight distribution, he's only a pound lighter than Washington.
Ooh.
So very close.
I still think I'd give it to Washington.
All right, well, here, let's jump on over to number 12. It looks like we got Zachary Taylor.
I don't know why, but from the stories I know of Zachary Taylor, how much does he weigh? Before I say my thing, how much does he weigh?
He's coming in at 170 pounds, so 5 pounds lighter than Washington.
I think Zachary Taylor could take Washington.
You think so?
Just from the stories I know, he sounds like a mad lad.
What exactly did he do that would you consider to be the overruling factor against Washington?
He was just very, very hands-on, much like Washington. Okay, so I have two reasons. Why. Both were war heroes. Both very hands-on when it came to fighting. Also, I'm kind of tired that Washington has just been smoking through everybody.
Now that's fair. Well, let's in that case, I mean, if he's like you say he is, let's go with Taylor. Let's put him at the top
and
for
if
now.
anyone is mad at that pick, come at me, not Everett. I'm the one who will pick Zachary Taylor.
I'm still on the Washington board until my boy Teddy comes into the fight. Then it's over.
All right, so next up is Millard Fillmore. Do you think he's putting up a fight at all to Zachary Taylor? How much does he weigh?
Let me check here. What was gosh, I had
Zachary
this
was
in order.
like
what
170.
president number is he? Oh, he's 13. So Fillmore, he comes in at 174. So still just that pound under Washington, but for Taylor, he is 4 pounds heavier.
You know what? I'm gonna say Zachary Taylor still wins.
You think
Yeah,
so?
Millard Fillmore didn't do much, but I'm excited about Franklin Pierce. What do you know about Franklin Pierce? Because I know a very sad story about Franklin Pierce. He's our only emo president, honestly.
Wait, you said our only hero or female president?
Emo, like.
Oh, emo. I just misheard you
Dude,
completely.
all 3 of his kids died.
Oh.
2 of his kids died
guy.
of natural causes, and then his 3rd kid on a train ride. The train broke down. Their cart fell down a hill, and his kid got decapitated.
Whew. Yikes.
Right after he became president, right after.
Wow, that's rough. I mean, I would still put that up there with Who was the oh gosh, I can't remember his president. Oh, that you said had pneumonia after his long speech.
Yeah, that was
in the rain.
William
That's
Henry
rough.
Harrison, who got pneumonia and died a month after being in office.
That's a big wolf.
God bless. Franklin Pierce, I don't need you to tell me how much he weighs, because I just know Zachary Taylor would beat him. Nothing against Franklin. Sorry about your kids, bro, but you would lose to Zachary Taylor. And let's move on. All right. Sorry, Franklin.
That's
fair. I'm sorry for your loss. Is James Buchanan next, if I'm right? James Buchanan, right?
I'm going to be honest. I cannot hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. James Buchanan, he's next, right?
Let me
Yeah, James Buchanan, 1857 to 1861, I believe. He'd be the next president. I'm not even sure what number I'm at, so if you could tell me the number.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm trying to find that right now. James Buchanan. I don't have this in their specific numbers, just by their weight.
Oh, God. I'm certain it's James Buchanan next.
Oh, let me see.
I would put money on it. I would bet my child dying in a train accident that James Buchanan is
number
next.
15. Yeah, it's definitely James Buchanan.
Oh, thank
He's
God.
number
Okay,
15.
cool. James Buchanan, I feel like all I know is that he was low-key a very bad person. I'm fairly certain that he was a bad person. I remember reading things about him being a bad person. How much does he weigh?
About 198 pounds.
I think I don't even know if he's much of a fighter or anything, but I think that weight distribution might actually put him over Zachary Taylor. Like, you could be an amazing fighter, but there's a reason there's weight classes in, like, wrestling. I think his weight might actually put him over Zachary Taylor with no weapons.
I got you. Yeah. Okay, then yeah, here we can definitely go Buckingham next, and actually here comes the big hitter for number 16. We got Abe Lincoln.
Wait, Abraham Lincoln. Wait, Abe wasn't the 16th president, was he?
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln is number 16.
Wait, no way. Lincoln wasn't the 16th president. I thought he was the. Am I on
That's the
drugs?
information
Oh my
I
God,
have
he
here.
was. Sorry. Grant was our 18th president. Lincoln was our 16th. That's a big L on my part. Sorry about that. I'm on drugs apparently.
Oh no, you're fine because we got Lincoln, we got Johnson, and then 18th is Grant.
Grant's
like
my
you
favorite
said.
president.
So you are
I
close.
always
You're in
know
the
what he is.
ballpark.
All right, Lincoln. How much does Lincoln weigh?
We got Lincoln rolling in here. Oh, I just had him on my radar.
I just like to go on
I'll find
record.
him again.
Lincoln is a notorious wrestler, so I think he's going to take Buchanan no matter what, unless he only weighs like 100 pounds. But I know he weighs more than that.
Yeah, I know. He weighs 180, so honestly, I'm going to throw him.
Yeah, James Buchanan, get out of my face. Lincoln's taking it. Andrew Johnson, I don't even
absolutely.
care how much Andrew Johnson weighs. He's out too. Don't even tell me. Andrew Johnson, you're done. Lincoln beats you. All right, Ulysses
you're
S.
done.
Grant.
Abe Lincoln's come.
Okay, number 18. How much does Grant weigh?
He's actually one of the lighter presidents. He's at 156.
No, I love Grant. I want him to beat Lincoln really badly because I absolutely love Grant, but
Yeah, no, Grant's. Grant was a great general. There's no doubt about that. But I would still probably put Lincoln there because Lincoln was actually like super tall, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah,
and for his weight and everything.
Lincoln beats Grant. I'm sorry, Grant. I love you, man. I'm sorry. Rutherford B. Hayes. I think Lincoln's taking him too.
He's at the weight of 175, so we're back in the Washington.
Yeah,
weight.
Rutherford B. Hayes. I'm sorry, bro. You're done. How much does James A. Garfield weigh?
Who?
James A. Garfield, the next president.
Yep, Garfield. He's rolling in at 184, so he is still technically larger than Lincoln.
How much does Lincoln weigh?
Next president above Lincoln. He's at 180.
I don't like James A. Garfield that much. I don't have anything. I'm sure I would have something against him because you can have something against every president. I just don't know the most about him, and I just, Garfield, I'm sorry, but you're losing to Lincoln. Lincoln's putting you in a chokehold and you're out. You're dead.
No, then what? We got Chester A. Arthur, correct? He would
1881
be
to
the 21st.
1885. One-term president.
Oh,
How much
yeah.
does that man weigh?
This man is clocking in at 224.
All right, I'm sorry, Lincoln, but just off of the fact that he weighs like 50 pounds more than you do, I think Chester A. Arthur takes that one.
Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Arthur. He's up there in weight distribution, so I think he's
At one point,
stomp the
he just
competition.
weighs too much. You can't beat that.
Oh yeah, just wait.
All right,
It gets
then
worse.
Grover Cleveland's next. How much does Grover Cleveland weigh?
Grover Cleveland. Let me find
So Grover
him.
Cleveland's such an interesting president because we have had 45 presidents, but only 44 men have served as president, meaning Grover Cleveland served 2 non-consecutive terms. He gave 2 inaugural addresses, meaning 45 inaugural addresses have been given, but only by 44 people. So Grover Cleveland is going to count for 2 presidents technically, so we will be skipping
22
over the 24th
and 24.
president. How much does Grover Cleveland weigh?
Exactly. He is actually the second heaviest president with 260 pounds under his belt.
Chester A. Arthur, bro, you had it with your weight against Lincoln, but I think Grover Cleveland comes in and puts the smackdown on you.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to go with Cleveland on this bad boy.
I feel really... So did you know Benjamin Harris is actually the grandson of William Henry Harrison?
No way, really?
Yeah, fun fact.
That's
I'm pretty
actually
sure he's
kinda
about to get clocked by Grover Cleveland. How much does Benjamin Harris weigh? I don't even think it matters.
Yeah, 160.
What?
160.
Oh, shit. That's like half the weight of Grover Cleveland. There's no way.
Grover Cleveland could eat him.
Yeah, bro, Benjamin Harrison, I'm sorry, bro. Grover Cleveland's taking you down. It's funny because Harrison technically beat Grover Cleveland after his first term, and then when Grover Cleveland came back, he beat Harrison. So, what a nice little... Sorry, Harrison, you're dead. All right, McKinley. What is our boy McKinley looking at?
I'm going to be honest, I didn't catch any of that.
Goddamn. We're doing this over a phone call, so it's a little rough. What does William McKinley look like?
William McKinley's clocking in at 199. He was definitely one of the bigger presidents. I mean, he's not definitely the biggest. We're getting there shortly. But, William McKinley, he was assassinated. And I don't know how he would do in a fight. I'm going to be completely honest.
If you're getting assassinated, how good are you at a fight? Let's be honest. Andrew Jackson killed his assassin, so all I'm saying is like, come on, guys. Step it. I feel awful for saying that.
Rip
like
Lincoln, you know what I'm saying?
William McKinley,
Lincoln.
I'm sorry. We have a middle school in our hometown named after you, but you're going down, bro. I'm really sorry.
I agree. I'll go with that. I don't think he would have been the best fighter, but for all we know, who knows? But I'm not going to vote on him on this fight.
Can I be honest? I completely forgot about Grover Cleveland, and he is doing better than I thought he would.
Grover Cleveland coming in hot.
He's one of those presidents that not a lot know about, but low-key is actually kind of important. Hey, it's your boy, Theodore Roosevelt, 1901 to 1909. How much does that man weigh?
Oh, Teddy, this man, he's coming in. He is the 6th largest president with 210 pounds. So he's not as big as Cleveland, but you also got to remember that Teddy Roosevelt was like a monster. Like, you can't stop this guy. He was in the middle of a speech and he got shot. He literally got shot and did not stop the speech. He just continued on and then finished the speech.
I think
and
the
then
difference
left
between
to the
Roosevelt and Cleveland is Cleveland's bigger but less agile. I think Theodore Roosevelt is close enough in weight where he can still do damage compared to like 160 versus how much Grover Cleveland weighs. It doesn't matter how agile you are, you just are not going to beat that unless you're an incredible fighter, which no president is like an incredible fighter until we get to one certain one. Theodore Roosevelt is very close to incredible fighter. I think he would put Cleveland down.
No, for sure. And Roosevelt, he's also an outdoorsman, so like this guy knows his stuff.
But then we get to a challenger, William Howard Taft.
Howard Taft.
That man's going to weigh a lot. I already know that.
Yeah. So this man, he's coming in. He is actually the heaviest president we've ever had. And he's clocking in at 340 pounds.
I think there's a point where you get to a point where if you weigh enough, it's no longer a advantage.
I think Teddy would still defeat Taft just because, like you said, Teddy is 100% like, agile, and he just knows how to, fight, essentially.
He knows how
can take
to
a
use
hit.
his weight as an advantage, and I think he'd be able to use Taft's weight against him.
Yeah, I think Taft is too large and in charge, so I'm going to have to go with Teddy.
I think Roosevelt's going to take that one. And then next up is Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921. I think Wilson gets put down as well by Theodore Roosevelt. You don't even have to tell me how much Wilson weighs. Just looking at him and just what I know, Theodore Roosevelt's putting Wilson down. Warren G. Harding. I love just skipping over some presidents, just being a jerk about it and being like, sorry, Wilson. All right, how much does Warren G. Harding weigh? I know he's getting put down, but I want to give him a chance.
It's he's clocking in Actually, so he's clocking in at 173, and for those that are wondering, Woodrow Wilson was at 170, so they're about the same weight. A little bit less than George
Sorry, I
Washington.
skipped
from
over
before.
Woodrow Wilson. I just didn't care about him. So Harding's losing to Roosevelt as well. Harding's going down.
Oh, yes. Roosevelt's going to be taking some rounds here for a while.
And then Calvin Coolidge shows up next. He was a Republican who, when he left office, wasn't beloved until Reagan, when Reagan was president, was like, hey, Calvin Coolidge was pretty cool. Then Calvin Coolidge was kind of seen as a good president, even though his hands-off tactics, low-key, is considered one of the causes of the Great Depression.
Oh, what a cool
Thanks,
guy. Yeah,
Coolidge.
he's
How
clocking
much
in
does
at
he weigh?
148 pounds, so I'm still going to go with Teddy.
Yeah, Teddy's got you, bro. He's what's that move when they flip you upside down and then they, like, drop you on your head in wrestling?
You know, I couldn't name the move,
but
but
that's
I know
what
what you're
Roosevelt's
talking
doing to
about.
Coolidge. Herbert Hoover,
Yep,
the only
100%.
president from Iowa and regarded as one of the worst presidents for doing absolutely nothing during the Great Depression.
And he's down for the count. Let's go in Teddy. But let's see what his weight is. For Hoover, oh golly, there he is. He's 187 pounds. So Roosevelt is heavier by a pound.
You know what?
They're about the same size.
Roosevelt takes him then. Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Oh,
I love FDR. Don't get me wrong, but this is messed up to say.
I actually. Well, Roosevelt. Don't get me wrong. I'm actually got Jordan here. I apologize. I actually looked at the note. Franklin D. Roosevelt, which is now what we're on. He's 188 pounds. Teddy Roosevelt is 210. I said that earlier. Just want to.
Oh yeah. You got it right before. You said he was 210, but then you messed it. Yeah, Franklin D. Roosevelt though. He was in a wheelchair towards the end of his life.
Yeah, I mean, great president, but he was sickly and he was in a wheelchair towards the end. So, as much as I would hate to see it, I'm gonna have to go with
Theodore
Teddy,
Roosevelt's
taking him down pretty
Franklin
hard.
D. Roosevelt. That's just against the family, but it's got to happen. Harry S. Truman.
But hey, the Roosevelts are up there. That's for sure.
Harry S. Truman. He's not putting up a fight at all. But go ahead and just tell me his statistics.
So Truman, let me see. Truman, he is coming in at 167 pounds.
Yeah.
So he's still
Truman with his
Teddy on
glasses.
that.
I just see, even though Theodore Roosevelt wears glasses, I just see like Roosevelt for some reason making fun of Truman having glasses and just breaking it.
Yeah, he just breaks his glasses casually.
This one's a hard one. Dwight D. Eisenhower. I like Ike.
He's coming in at 171 pounds, but
He has a lot of experience in war as well, just like Theodore Roosevelt, with the education from the United States Military Academy. He was literally a general in the Army. That's pretty important.
Mm-hmm. That is pretty impressive.
But again, it's like hands-on combat, meaning I think Dwight D. Eisenhower would lose if it's hands-on combat.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I think he would put up a formidable fight against Teddy, but I still think Teddy's going to come out on top.
I agree. I concur with that. All right, next up, John F. Hey, have you seen Clone High?
I have not seen that show, but I've seen the memes, and I've seen a little bit of what you showed me. But
Yeah.
yes, I know JFK's in that.
Incredible. I love JFK, especially in that show, but I think that boy is he's losing to Theodore Roosevelt. It doesn't matter. You can tell me how much he weighs, but I think we already know he's probably losing.
Yeah, he's same as Harding. He's at 173. But I mean, I think I think it would be kind of a fight where like Kennedy might have like the beginning of the fight, but then Teddy would totally just wreck him in the second.
I agree. I think John F. Kennedy would put up more of a fight than we saw with the last like 6 presidents, but in the end, Kennedy would lose.
For sure. And then we go on over to Lyndon B. Johnson. Let me find him. He looks like he's coming in at 200 pounds. So still about 10 pounds lighter than Roosevelt. And for a fun fact for all you U.S. History buffs out there, Lyndon B. Johnson used to walk around the White House naked casually.
Good
all the
for
time.
Lyndon B. Johnson. Good for him, but I still think even if he showed up to the wrestling match naked, I still think he would lose.
That is true. I think I'm going to put him on the losing fact, even though apparently he's hung like a horse. So
Good for Lyndon
Sorry,
B.
Lyndon.
Johnson. That
We
might
got
be
Teddy
an
on top.
intimidation tactic. I'd like that to go on record.
no, who knows? I don't know Teddy, but Lyndon B. Johnson was not afraid.
Next up, Richard Nixon, a president who could have been considered one of the greats if not for his immense amount of scandals.
Yep. I mean, he comes in at 175, but I'm going to be completely blunt, dude. Teddy's going to knock him right across the face, and that guy's on the ground.
Yeah. Sorry, Nixon. Sorry. Oh, man. Gerald Ford. Here's the thing about Gerald Ford. This man was he went to school at the United States Navy. That's where he served. Sorry. He fought in World War II. And also, he was incredibly talented athlete.
Ooh, that is going to be
How much does he
tough.
weigh?
He comes in at 190, though, so he is 20 pounds lighter than Teddy.
It doesn't say height, right?
No, unfortunately, I don't have height with me. I just have the weights.
Here's the thing. Gerald Ford is... I don't get me wrong. Theodore Roosevelt played football as well, loved the sport, but Gerald Ford was, like, a good wrestler as well.
I gotcha. Well, damn.
I do think Gerald Ford... I think it'd be incredibly close, and it's weird to say this, but I think Gerald Ford would win.
That's tough. I'm going to disagree on you with that one and still say Teddy, but...
Here, one sec. Before you do that, let me look something up real quick, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Go crazy.
Can you entertain the masses for a second? Tell them a story about your life.
Well, a story about my life.
Yeah, go for it. Just tell them a great story that's PG friendly, because you don't have a lot of those, but just PG-13 friendly. All right, I'll be right back. Tell a great story. Go.
PG-13 friendly. I don't know. I don't really have that many exciting life stories, at least not that I could share on this channel. I apologize. But I guess I could talk about how me and Jake met. It was actually quite it was our freshman year of high school. We were both in show choir, and that's kind of the class that we met each other in. I was best friends, or at the time I had a best friend. His name was Ben, and I would let Jake start hanging out with Ben, and I was just like, no way, Jose, you ain't doing this, cringy high school stuff. But me and Jake hit it off pretty well over time, and we've always been like best friends through it all. So fun fact, when I first met Jake, I did not like him, and I don't know if he liked me either.
All right. Hey, all right, listen to this. Gerald Ford is considered the best athlete out of any president. He had the chance to go pro with the Green Bay Packers and Detroit, but chose to attend law school instead.
Jeez. All right, yeah, let's put Ford on there.
Ford is taking home the victory against Roosevelt. Oh, poor Jimmy Carter. Next up, Jimmy Carter.
Oh no, not Carter.
I think Carter's going down.
I mean, yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. He doesn't seem like the fighter, and he's at 160 pounds. So, I mean, he's light as a feather compared to him.
Yeah. Next up, God bless his soul, may he rest in peace, Ronald Reagan.
The boy, the myth, the legend. I'm not going to say Reagan's going to win. Fine president for his time, absolutely. But I don't think he would win this fight, even though I think he'd have a good fight. I think he would, have fun in it, but I don't think Reagan's going to come on top.
Yeah, I think Gerald Ford's putting some hurt on Reagan. And then we get to George H.W. Bush, the less beloved Bush. I don't think he's winning. Before you even say his weight, may he rest in peace. Homeboy's not winning.
Yeah, no, he weighed in at 196 pounds, but even then I wouldn't say that he would win that fight at all. So yeah, I would still say with Ford for sure on top.
All right, Bill Clinton.
Oh, Bill Clinton. Hold on.
Here's the thing about Bill.
Oh, Billy boy.
I think Bill would lose to Theodore Roosevelt, but beat Gerald Ford.
I could for sure see that. And Bill Clinton, he's actually the fifth heaviest president with 223 pounds, so he is technically heavier than Teddy, but.
It's a weird degree of separation almost. Like, again, I think Theodore Roosevelt would beat Bill Clinton, but Bill Clinton would beat Gerald Ford, who would beat Theodore Roosevelt. It's like a weird way of matching people up, and I just think Bill Clinton would somehow beat Gerald Ford.
Yeah, you know what? I could see that. It's very possible. I say it would be a very close fight for sure.
But then we get to George W. Bush, who I think would lose to Gerald Ford and Theodore Roosevelt, but beat Bill Clinton.
Just keeps switching up. Yeah, no. I would say so, because and I could be wrong. And for George W., he comes in at 191 pounds. So he's a little bit lighter than his father, but I'm pretty sure he was an athlete, right?
Yeah.
He was in football.
Oh, yeah, dude was an athlete. I think he would take down Bill Clinton.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I would. It's tough to say. It's much harder to judge them when they're alive.
I'm going to say George W. Bush wins that round.
All right, that's fair. I mean, you know what? George W. He seems like the guy that went to enough frat parties. He's got this.
Barack Obama.
You know, dude, honestly, I'd put Obama up there. He's a pretty fit guy. Like, he's not like an all-star quarterback, at least from my knowledge. But I could see him coming in pretty hot. He's actually the exact same weight as Abraham Lincoln, so at 180 pounds.
Here's the thing. I think Obama would beat Roosevelt, would beat Washington, and beat Bush, but would lose to Gerald Ford. But Gerald Ford lost quite some time ago, but I think Barack Obama beats Bush.
I could say he could beat Bush, but I don't think he'd beat Teddy. I'll disagree with you on that, but I could see him beating Bush for sure.
Okay, so we'll say he could beat Bush, but not Teddy. So he does go on to face against our current president, Donald Trump. How much does Trump weigh?
Dude, Trump, he's the third tallest president, the third heaviest. He's coming in at 239 pounds.
Isn't Trump one of the oldest presidents as well?
Yes, he is. I think he is the oldest. I could be wrong, but I know he's 77.
So that's
currently,
where it gets a little confusing. Is we haven't really spoken about age because don't think it's played that large of a role in the long run. Because most of the time, if age would have played a role, they were already getting smoked because the president they were facing was stronger. But here, it's like Obama versus Trump. On paper, it's like Trump weighs more, so you could probably put the hurt on Obama in some ways. Obama's more athletic, though. But then, because Obama's considered like the sixth most athletic president of all time. But then you look at the age and how young Obama is against Trump. I think Obama would beat Trump in a fight like 90% of the time.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. I mean, when it comes to the weight factor, obviously Trump's on top, and he could probably pin him down pretty easily. But I think Obama would be pretty agile and much more quick than Trump, and he'd be able to stop him.
Yeah, so I think in the end, granted, it's a lot easier to be one of the last presidents to win. Poor Washington. Washington, I feel like, would have made it very far if not for just random presidents here and there. But technically, in the end, Barack Obama wins.
Yeah, no. I would say, I mean, I'm not even going to say that there's going to be a defined winner here. I'm going to say our top three are either Ford, Teddy, or Obama. Those three are
the people, I would say the people who carried it the longest were Washington, Roosevelt, and Ford.
Yeah, so those are our top three contenders, I would say, for sure.
So, wow, Everett, thank you so much for being a part of that. Is there anything you want to say now that we wrapped up this long and glorious segment?
Yeah, well, biggest thing I can say for anyone that's listening is go out there and go vote. We're coming up on a huge election, super important, whichever side you're on, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously it matters to some, but the biggest thing I can say is go vote, whether it's for, whatever team you're on. But, your voice matters in what way this country is going to shape and form. And whether you think like, hey, this isn't for me or my vote doesn't matter, it does. And you need to get out there and you need to vote. It's your civic duty, and it's one of the most beautiful things about democracy. So
exactly.
If I can leave anybody with a little tidbit,
I absolutely loved a candidate who didn't make it in, we will still be voting.
Oh, absolutely. If your candidate didn't make it, that is not a reason not to vote. You need to get out there and you need to choose.
Rest in peace, Andrew Yang.
Unfortunately.
We still love you.
Andrew Yang, if you're listening, you're our boy.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Everett, thank you for joining me. You can hit stop on your thing now.
All right, cool.
Again, thank you so much for putting up with that awful audio. Hopefully this one isn't poppy, because if it is, I'm going to go insane. I'm going to lose it. You're probably already like, Jake seems a little unhinged lately. It's because I am. And I am one more bad audio clip away from just losing it. My mom's actually filming. Hey, Mom, how's it going? You can say hi. Hi. Yeah, so don't worry, Mom. I'm not actually insane. It's been a long month, okay? I'm ready for 2020 to be over. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. Thanks for watching Jake Podcast. Next episode is going to be a interview with a guy named Alex Schulte as we reminisce about the good old days. All right. Thanks for watching.